Is the Exalted Hero of Khorne any good? Now, this is a hero you won't even get unless you have the Champions of Chaos DLC, but since that DLC actually has a good value proposition, I don't think you should be playing the Monogod factions without it either. This DLC anyway. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider joining to my coffee page. Coffee is good. Coffee is life. The Exalted Hero is recruited from the Skull Harvester building, notable for raising the recruit rank of raw recruits, and for allowing recruitment of the Chaos Knights of Khorne. That means you can get an Exalted Hero from a Tier 3 building. However, you only expand the cap for Exalted Heroes with the Tier 4 building, Juggerplant, from which comes Juggernauts, of course. The Exalted Hero begins with 4068 HP, so a whopping gargantuan, amazingly great difference of 20 hit points compared to the Blood Reaper, and yes, that's a little sarcasm. Armor is 110 right out of the gate, without a shield, and missile and spell resistance are both 15. Leadership is 70, which reflects, this being an Exalted Hero. Speed is 33, but hey, he's a Chaos Warrior. They're usually 28. Melee attack is 65, plus its flaming attacks and not magical. Serious things to note, with an attack interval of 4 and a max splash targets damaged of 8, and 8 is pretty high. Melee defense is 40, which is pretty decent for a Khorne character. Weapon strength is 440, but 330 of this is base damage, and 110 is armor piercing. So while this guy dishes it out like a Chaos Warrior, he also has the anemic armor penetration of a Chaos Warrior. Oh, he also has a bonus versus infantry of 15. Charge bonus is 45 and mass is 600. Yes, 600. It's a lot less than the Blood Reaper. Now, this guy has Frenzy. Since he is mortal, so that's plus 10 melee attack and plus 10% to weapon strength and charge bonus while his leadership holds up, and immunity to psychology during that time. He also has the Rage trait, increasing in intensity with the time he spends in melee, capping out at a max of plus 5 melee attack, plus 8 leadership, and on top of that, plus 10% physical resistance. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. That means without any skills, without any items, nothing, he goes from between 90 and 95 melee attack against a standard infantry blob. Forget not bad, this guy could star in his own cheesy TV series. Too bad he can't take off the armor so the ladies can see his chest. The Exalted Hero gains access to a Chaos Steed at rank 4, jacking up HP to 4680 base, armor to 130 base, speed to 78, charge bonus to 60, and everything else is essentially unchanged. The curious standard from other heroes applying here. Mass is now 1500, so it needs to be recalled that he remains just as effective at smiting low to mid armored infantry as he was before. He's just faster, tougher, and more vulnerable to, say, halberdiers. The Gorebeast Chariot slows him down slightly, raises toughness slightly over the Chaos Steed, lowers melee attack to 40, turns splash damage targets damage to 4, that is halving the number, 50% of the number, and reduces melee defense to a shocking 15. But while weapon strength remains at 440, it's now 110 base damage versus 330 armor piercing, with a fat bonus versus infantry of 30. Charge bonus is now 80 and mass is 2000. So as long as you're facing infantry, or as long as you're fighting armor to the point you don't care about the horrific melee defense, this is a very nasty turn of the tables on your foes, and leaves the cultist eating his dust. He also causes fear natively for the first time. Finally, the Juggernaut mount gives him just a little bit more HP still, reduces speed to 62, and restores his 65 melee attack and 8 splash targets damaged and 40 melee defense. But weapon strength is now 470 by default, split between 115 base and 355 AP, with a bonus versus infantry of 20. Charge bonus is 70 and mass is 1800. In other words, this feels like a best of all worlds deal, making the Exalted Hero an armor-piercing hero and elite unit killer. At least that's what you hope. He also gains the Siege Attacker trait, interestingly enough. Well, there's not many characters boasting 3 mounts, so that took a while. As an agent, the Exalted Hero has training as his army embed skill, raising XP by a fixed amount per turn for all units. His constant is spread control, which costs control of your enemies when in their provinces, where he should be. He can assault garrison, assassinate, and very importantly, assault units, something your other heroes cannot do. Specialist makes these actions cheaper. I will note briefly that the traits available to Exalted Heroes vary greatly from the Cultist and even the Blood Reaper, and feel free to find what works for you. The melee line is actually a standard mortal line, starting with the Blade Master for +5 melee attack, and then letting you get devastating charge and so on, with no surprises. Aura of Chaos provides 10% missile resistance, and Infernal Champion gives 10% extra weapon strength. What's missing? Any boost to spell resistance. You won't find it here. At rank 5 and rank 7, you get the option to choose a single skill from 3 options. That is 2 out of a total of 6 skills, exclusive to the Exalted Hero in this roster. Let's go through them, because this is what will make your Exalted Hero special. Chaos Gladiator provides a flat +5 melee attack, a flat +50 armor-piercing weapon damage, and a bonus versus infantry of +5 above whatever you had before. Chaos Commander boosts leadership aura by 25% and allows the use of Stand or Die, the old Empire standard skill, giving +16 leadership and +24 melee defense, for a faction that has few ways to really bolster defense. Chaos Strategist increases training by an additional 50 points per turn, which is starting to really get up there. Usually people sleep on this, but 50 more per turn? Also, casualty replenishment is boosted by 5% for that army, and replenishment is hard to get with Khorne, so this is not a bad pick. Vengeful Scorcher grants +10% weapon strength and enables Hellblade, the Blood Reaper and Exalted Bloodletter trait. So, kill more than 80 things? Get the boost. Kill more things? More blood. More skulls. What's not to like? Raging Stalwart gives ward save of 5% and spell resistance of 10% for the hero's entire army. That's strong. I respect it. Brutal Ritualist increases Khorne's authority by 1 for your army, which you should never take as the monogod Khorne. Just saying, I'm sure it's plenty useful with the other factions, the Champion of Chaos factions, Valkia, etc. That was a lot to go over, but how do we summarize this? The Exalted Hero comes to kick butt and take names. I mean, he's just copying the Bloodletters, who chant the names of the warriors they've slain. Taking names is just part of the deal. He hits harder than the Cultist, and after a bit of work, and especially with the right items and a good choice of mounts, he hits harder than the Blood Reaper too, even against heavily armored foes. He's particularly good at scattering infantry to the 4 winds. He's a bruiser. He's a bully. He punches down. And it's great. This is a game after all. Take care and have fun trampling over the less exalted than thee. They had it coming.